Hello, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Dominic, or D for short, 1E, and this is my place. It's a safe space I created to talk about life, real life, no filter, no judgment. So, let's jump right into this week's episode. Hello again, and welcome to another thrilling episode at Dee's Place. I was thinking about the last conversation we had and how I was having a fear-faith conversation, and that day, that time, faith won. I had to have the conversation with myself again, and so it dawned on me that we can't always have that conversation with ourselves. And so depending on how the day is going or, how life is going, we may not feel like having that conversation with ourselves. And so thinking about a conversation I had with a friend of mine, he looked at me and he was like, D, I don't have that kind of faith. Like, I just don't have the kind of faith you have. So in just thinking about that, and in thinking about the conversations I've had to have with myself daily, I figured I would do today's show on where my faith comes from and the life experiences that I've had to help build my faith. And believe it or not, I'm not going to go into a whole story or a whole lot of stories on life and my life because I do have tons and tons and tons of faith stories. But my faith comes from several places, not just something that happened to me, or my belief in the strength to fight fear comes from so many places, and I sum all of that up. I sum all of the strength up into faith because that's really what it boils down to. But it really is, it's strength. It's coming from several places. So some of the places that I get strength from, I would have to go back to my parents' lives, and I would have to go back to when I was younger, when I was a kid, and then believing that I could do something, quite possibly because somebody told me I could, and not knowing that I didn't have the limitations that we sometimes put on kids these days, or that we put on people these days to tell them you can't do something. And so I believed early on that I could, and I had parents and I had relatives and family members who told me that I could, and that's just a could, period, ... It wasn't a no, you can't. And if I did get a you can't do this, my question was, well, why can't I do it? Help me understand, why is that a no? And so I did challenge my mom quite a bit. But for the most part, it comes from having positive people telling you that you can. You believe that you can do it, and you can do it. That's all you have to do is just believe. And so at some point I had to make the decision that, yes, I'm going to try it and I'm going to believe. And so growing up, I believed that I could, and so I did. And I believed that I could make the drill team, and I ended up being the only black girl on the drill team. But nobody told me I couldn't, and I didn't have those limitations to say that I couldn't. Even growing up and getting beyond high school and moving away from home and going to school, I got pregnant, and my dad, he was very comforting, and he was like, you're going to be fine, and you can do this. And so he gave me all the positives of, getting pregnant without being married, as opposed to all of the negatives and beating me up, because quite honestly, I was beating myself up. So, he just believed that even still, with not making great choices, even still, the best can happen and you'll be fine. He had a level of faith himself that let me know that regardless of what's going on, things are going to work out. And so it may not look good, it may not look right, you may not be the happiest of times, you may have to go through things, but that's okay. I gained strength from just surrounding myself with positive people and people who believe in me, people who believe and who I am and what I'm about and what I can do, and that means that they have to have a level of faith themselves. Even if, because some of these people, and I'm thinking about them all in my head, but some of these people don't even believe in themselves as much as they believe in me, and or as much as they believe in other people. And that's definitely a topic that I want to talk about, because we do that so often. We believe more for other people than we believe for ourselves. And there are so many reasons that happens, but we should pull it back, and we should believe in ourselves just as much as we believe in other people. I draw faith and I draw strength from people who tell me, you know what, you can do this. Like, if anybody can do it, you can do it. My mom is my biggest cheerleader, and she's just, you are amazing, you are awesome. And even if I'm not amazing and if I'm not awesome, hearing her say you're amazing, you're awesome, helps. And I have tons of people who support me, and not financially or anything, but just an encouraging word, just to say, you know what, you got this. Strength comes from surrounding myself with positive people. It comes from listening to positive music. If I'm having a rough day, or if I'm having I don't know if I can, oh my gosh, I can't, or going through anything really that is not on the up and up, and I need to be on the up and up, I need to get doubt out, then I'll listen to some positive music that says, you know what? You can do this. You're strong, you're brave, you're powerful. So listening to positive music, watching positive things on television. I watch a lot of cartoons and a lot of kids shows, but in those cartoons and those kids shows, they're geared towards telling kids that the impossible is possible, that you have all the power you need to make the world the way you want it to be. To make your world better, to make things better. You can affect change. And so I listen to those as well, and I watch those as well, as opposed to watching stuff that would tear me down internally. I watch things that are going to build me up internally. And then, of course, belief in God. And I was raised to believe in God. I was raised in a spiritual household. But my belief in God, it started there. But it grew as I got older and as I understood who God was. And believing in Him, believing in me is what keeps me going. And I know everybody doesn't believe in God and everybody doesn't believe in Jesus. And I get that. If that's working for you, that's fine. But what works for me is me believing in God. And like I said, me believing in God, believing in me. So when I don't do all the things that I know I should do, or when I have those lazy days when I really should be being productive, or when I just flat out don't listen to God. You know, sometimes we have those conversations and God is like, you know what, you really don't need to do this. It's really not going to work out. And literally God is saying, case in point, relationship. God is literally saying, this is not the relationship you need to be in. But me, on my side, I'm over here like, no, Lord. Wait. Watch. It's going to work out. Watch and see. And then when it don't work out, He's still right there. He's still right there to help me pick up the pieces and go forward with life, to get over the hurt and or to realize like you shouldn't have done it in the first place, but you did. You learn from that. You move on from that. And so believing that He still loves me even when I don't do everything He tells me to do or everything I know I'm supposed to do. Believing that He wants the best for me because He said He wants the best for me. And I know you kind of have to have belief to believe. But it's still, that starts with something small and grows to something bigger. I remember fussing at somebody for doing something, I don't know, some girl for doing something with a guy, like moving out of town and uprooting her child to follow a guy. And I was fussing at home, just to myself, venting to God, really. And I was like, you know, she's just doing all of this. Why? Because He said she looked good today, because He sent her some flowers. Man, God can send you some flowers. And I was venting and all kinds of stuff. I got to work, and literally I was at work for an hour and a half, and the receptionist called me and told me I had flowers at the front desk. wait a minute. I'm like, God, you playing, right? Like, like you just showing out right now. But I wasn't in a relationship. I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't expecting any flowers. It wasn't my birthday. It wasn't Secretary's Day. It wasn't Boss's Day. Like, it was no specific day whatsoever. But earlier that day, I said, God can send you some flowers. And that afternoon, God sent me some flowers. I didn't know what to say. I was shocked, but just little things like that. I read somewhere you can either believe that everything is a miracle or you can believe that nothing is a miracle. It's what you choose. And so I choose to look at the things that happen in my life, good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter, as something that's going to work out and it's supposed to happen. And that helps me, that gives me strength to fight the you can't do this, you won't make it, you won't be successful, it won't make a difference, it won't matter, to fight those things, and then to fight doubt. Even though I do pull from some of the same sources for doubt, sometimes I just have to make a decision, and I just have to say, you know what? I hear it. I hear all of the things that could go wrong. And despite all of those things, I don't know what else to do but go for it. Because for me, there are only two options. I can either choose to go for it or I can choose to stop. That's it. There is no in between. Like, you kind of go for it, but you don't. You either have to go all the way or you just stop. That's it. It's one or two. And stop means, so I'm never gonna do this. Is that what I'm saying? I'm never gonna do this, even though the thoughts come in my head all day, every day, repeatedly. If there's something in your spirit, there's something in you that has to come out, it has to come out. Regardless of the fear and the faith, it will drive you, it will push you, it will have to come out. And so then you just have to fight everything that's trying to fight that. And so that's kind of where I pull my faith from. Surrounding myself with positive people and listening to positive music, watching positive things on television, believing in myself, and believing that God believes in me. This, of course, isn't everything, because there's no way to put everything in a 15-minute episode. But if you don't have the ability, the strength to, coach yourself into doing things you really want to do, then that's fine. For that, I would say, and I would do, if I wasn't so secretive most times, I would tell somebody who really cares about me, this is what I'm trying to do and this is what I want to do, and I'm afraid. And because I'm afraid, I'm telling you so that you can hold me accountable and you can make sure that it happens, and you can tell me the goods and the bads and what you think about it. But I do have a couple of friends that I can go to and tell, this is what I'm doing. And I don't want to let my own fears and my own doubts stop me from doing that, so that they can hold you accountable and help you. Like, we have to help each other. And so if you don't have anybody, tell me. I'll do what I can to help you. Drop a note down below and let me know what things contribute to the strength you have, or what fears you're facing, where your faith came from, where your faith to believe comes from, what things you do to help you get out of that I can't mode. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, D's Place. It's a safe space.